And we're back. What's up, everybody? Thursday, January 22nd. And things look just as bad as they did the other day. Maybe even worse. I know you see some green on the screen in a second. And you're going to think, hey, we're back. Maybe not. Sadly, we got to talk about it. Is what it is. We pulled no punches. We have no BS here. Thank you for being here. Let's get into it. Crypto before dark. We're probably going to change it to charts before dark and charts after dark because, hey, is what it is, right? Crypto has slowly gone into a death spiral. If you haven't done so, please go hit like. It's free. Costs absolutely nothing. While you're there, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. We put up these streams twice a week. We do videos all in between. While you're there, subscribe. Most of you don't subscribe. I get it. You don't like the content because it doesn't go bullish, bullish, bullish. Oh my God, we're all going to be rich all the time. It's the honest stream. That sucks, right? Yeah, I get it. I get it. It sucks for me too. It's what it is, though. You got to roll with it and deal with it. So, without further ado, let's get right off into it. We'll start with, we'll start with the reality check that is Bitcoin. I got the chart on the screen here for you so you can see it. Right? Just speaking bluntly honest, look at it and tell me what you think. This looks like a very, very abrupt lower low to me, and looks like it's failed a trend line that it had established going back to the beginning of middle of November, working through December, and now into January. What was good immediately rejected and has turned bad. And you failed the trend line here, and so far you have back tested this trend line in a very bearish fashion. You did exactly what you did here, where you bullishly back tested a trend line. Well, this is underneath it. This is bearish. Sorry, folks. Sucks, doesn't it? And as you see, there was your last low, and this is your next low. That's a lower low. What you're working on now is what we call there's your last high. Here comes what we call a lower high. This is a little mini downtrend. And this is part of a much larger, bigger downtrend. See that? There's your previous high. Here's your current high. Lower. And where's the next high? Well, you guessed it. Sorry, folks. Likely to be another lower high. And likely another lower low. Sucks, right? Just got to keep it honest. It is what it is. I don't know other way to put this besides this bear market time. And, I mean, the way I see it, not financial advice. Do what you want. Don't listen to me. That's fine. Not like a lot of people listen anyway. To me, this looks very bear marketish. Let me hit the jazz. I forgot. This looks very bear marketish. And what I mean by that is you're just broken overall structure with consistent lower lows and lower highs on a larger time frame. You're not quite in another lower low here just yet. As you see, that's actually a higher low, but barely. But what we are working on is like this head and shoulders, like I talked about last time. It's very, very bearish looking. And that neckline is a liquidation line as well, and it's highly likely to get tested, which sits at about 78,000. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion. And furthermore, it's only a matter of time before you dig into the mess over here, which is between 70 and 55,000-ish. A lot of mess in there, yeah? So that looks like that region may hold a little bit better than this did. It is a longer timeline of price consolidation than you had up here, where you had only a couple weeks of price consolidation, where you had many more previously. So I think it's a lot more likely that this area of price action down here from 2024 has a chance of holding the price up better than what we have now. I mean, this all tried to stay up above that support level right there, but it failed miserably. And because of that, you're reaping the rewards of that now, which are failure. This is a high. This is the lower high forming. And then you're going to get a lower low in here. There was your low. Here was your last low. You're probably going to get a lower low in here and a lower high, and a lower low and a lower high. A little something like that, where the price comes down and chops around. And we'll see how far down she digs into the mud here. but I do think that's coming. And in fact, I think we're going to get that throughout the spring into Federal Open Market Committee chairman change, FOMC change, to where we should get into rates getting cut again, where I think we're going to see mortgage rates back down in the low to mid fives, maybe even possible high fours, which would be great for people looking to get houses, but for what it's worth, they can't really afford them. So why push people into homes they can't afford? But many of you will be able to refinance, which is awesome. And that'll save you guys a lot of money and time. But I do believe that's on the horizon for this later this year. But I think somewhere around the summertime, once you get some heavier rate cuts and we start to see those rates get back down, I think we may see a bullish bounce of some sort that would coincide with that. That would also put the weekly chart into an oversold condition, which it has not done yet. Right? As you see, this is all daily stuff that I wrote here. But the weekly, as you can see, hasn't quite gotten oversold yet. That oversold would be way down here. And that's why I think, sometime in the summer, we're going to see that oversold condition, which would be prime opportunity for you to buy the bounce. As you see back here, last bear market in 2022 during the summer, what happened? Well, you caught that RSI right there, oversold, and she ran up. Now, if you'll note here, this RSI continued to trend up the entire time while only dipping down till the end of the year. See that right there? That was the end of the year and the end of the bear market. But before the end of the bear market, you actually had the low in the summer, right? It wasn't a ton more losses from the summer to the end of the year. I think it was about 16 to 18%, which ended up being the bottom. So again, looking back here, same story for 2018. You had your big bull run, right? You had your big slowdown, and there was the bear market ending up in October, November area. But I want you to look over here in the summer, right? Same situation where it tried to bottom out in the summer. It did have one more very, very aggressive fall, and then it worked its way into another overbought condition and then halving, et cetera, et cetera. And then here comes your next halving again. You'll work down to the oversold before you get to the next halving. It happens almost every time that way. Nearly like clockwork. So we're probably going to have another oversold in here on the weekly. And that may be the opportunity that everyone needs to buy low again. I do think we have more bull markets on the horizon, but I do think we have the law of diminishing gains to talk about, right? It's likely that those gains continue to diminish over time and become less and less and less attractive. That's the way it works, folks. When big money comes in, small money gets beat. And you have to have more and more and more to be able to compete. It's likely that most altcoins won't survive this. In case you don't understand that, I want you to go back and look at last bear market for all the ones they thought were super bullish and the great team and rah, rah, rah. Oh my God, they're killing it. They're going to do amazing things. They're going to make so much more money next bull market. They didn't. So now what? It's likely that only the top assets, and I mean the top handful of assets, survive this. And if that's the case, where are you going to put your money? Tough call, isn't it? Yeah, I agree. So you have to be a little bit more judicial about things and be a little bit smarter about things. It's no point in digging through a bunch of altcoin charts. At this point, it's all bearish for the most part. Every once in a while, you're going to see a few altcoins pop up and look pretty good and do their thing. For me, I think it's all fugazi. I think we've started a much broader bear market that's going to last the rest of the year mostly. Now, again, it's possible that the summer is our bottom. We had a less exaggerated bull market. It's possible that we have a less exaggerated bear market, right? That makes logical sense. But that's not a guarantee. As a matter of fact, I don't expect it. It's just a hope. And you know where feelings get you. They get you beat every single time. So let's prepare for the worst and check and see if we get the best. Is that fair to say? I think that's pretty fair to say. What a hell of an opening segment, huh? That sucks. I hate keeping it real with people. It blows, dude. It's so much easier to lie to people than tell them bullshit. I know Crypto Big D said that. Truth hurts, bro. It's fact. Let's look at some comments. Artist V Media says, what's up? Good to see you, brother. Thor's Hammer, good to see you. Godspeed to Frozen Carolinas. It's not even a joke, bro. We're about to get iced up. Son, iced up. Steve Smith reference. You guys get it right. D Flav, good to see you, brother. Charles can't lie. Trump said we'll be tired of winning. Guess who's talking about Barron? Ha! Wesley Hart, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Crypto Andrew, what's up, brother? Is that Andrew Ionescu? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. There's a bunch of Andrews. Over on X, good to see you guys. What's up, Matoshi? Good to see you, brother. Bulldog Bandit, what's up, Diego? Good to see my guy thinking about it. Good to see you, brother. He says, Ian, good to see you. Shout out to every other person who's hit the like button. And Crypto Big D over on Rumble. Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you coming by. Dale Benet Jr., 2 feet coming up in this bitch. I know, right? I don't think we're going to get much snow. It's mostly going to be ice for us, which is devastating because that's just going to destroy the infrastructure here. They're going to nuke the power lines, dude. That ice, I think a civil engineer told me between 1/4 and 3/8 of ice is about all the power lines are rated to take. Anything more than that, and you're begging for them to fail, right? They just can't hold the weight, which is why a lot of us have pushed for underground utilities. But the problem with underground utilities is it costs more, and that's why they don't do it, right? That's why they don't bury them to begin with, is what it is. I do 2,000 this week on Radix. Is it time to sell and wait for the summer? What is Radix? Give me the ticker. We can look at the chart, but I don't know. I don't know what you mean. So let's look at give me the ticker and we'll check the chart out. But rather than sit and talk about the woes of weather, yeah, at least we're not in Minnesota where it's -30 and they're having liberal riots. And that's not political. That's the truth. I would not be out there in -30 raising hell. I know that much. XRD, let's look at that real quick. Yeah, this is one of the few that have popped off and done crazy things. Look at that. Again, these are very few and far between. She broke trend like a champ. Look at that thing go. Let's put our 821 EMA up there. There we go. From the 821 EMA, where you got 2 over the 8 and then 821 cross, you are up 142% at the moment. That thing's absolutely screaming. It is hitting the 200 moving average. It is overbought. Look at that. Extremely overbought. Is it time to sell? Well, that's up to you, but I'll tell you it's overbought. And a lot of these that went overbought didn't last very long. I don't like that wick at the top, but this thing is running hot. And a lot of times when they run hot, they keep going. R3, it's over the pivot, still ripping. It's not necessarily a sell-off, that's for sure. But it definitely has some bearish signs. What do I mean by bearish signs? Well, that 4-hour inverted doji right there is inverted hammer, inverted dragonfly. It's a very, very sketch-looking candle. But that being said, it still isn't a sell-off. Now you're seeing profits being taken. And I would encourage everybody, and I mean everybody, to take your profits. If you don't take profits, someone else will. Please be smart enough to be the guy who gets paid, not the guy who loses. But this is one of the better ones you're going to see. They don't all look like this. In fact, it's less than 3% or 2% of charts look like this. So if you hit on one, make sure you get your money. It's supposed to be -51 wind chill here tomorrow in the southern Wisconsin. Bro, why in the hell would you want to live in southern Wisconsin? Holy crap. -51, bro. It's going to take another 60 to 80 years for you guys to learn, but you got to move south. Sorry. You got to move south. That's insane, dude. Wow. Yeah, I'm not about that. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be doing it. All right, so I'm going to jump over to the stock world, and we're going to look at top assets and stock assets. Why? Well, they look way better than crypto. And if you don't know what I mean, I'm about to show you, so please hang with me and don't get pissed off that I'm not talking about altcoins. I'll be honest, nobody cares. Hardly anybody watches anymore. Why? Because all the altcoins that they want to go way up aren't. And it's me being honest saying this fucking sucks and you shouldn't be buying it. If you do buy it, it's on you. You do whatever the hell you want. I know I'm not buying it. But they keep doing it anyway and keep losing, and you keep seeing people fail. People don't heed the advice of charts. People don't want charts. They want hopium. They want to be told, we're going to win, team, bullish, and it's just not true. But the other stuff gets more clicks. The other stuff gets more hype. The other stuff gets you promotions that go on in the back and get you money in the back end. I don't do all that stuff. And that sucks because I could make $1 million. I mean, honestly, I've turned down over $1 million worth of promotions. You're going to go, Keith, that's insane. Why would you do that? Well, it wasn't $1 million when I turned it down, first of all. But it would have been more than 1 million if I had taken them. But it would have been taking them at the people off you all years backs, right? It would have been me talking about it, you guys buying it, and then me dumping on your heads. And I'm not cool with that, so I didn't do it. Call me crazy, but there are people right now who are following my accounts who did it. I won't name any names, but they don't come around anymore. Guess why? You can't beat the summer in Minnesota. You can't beat the summer down here, bro. We got lakes, rivers, streams, swimming pools, and cold beer. We got some mosquitoes, sure, but we've learned to deal with the mosquitoes. It's all right. It'll be fine. All right. Let's hit these top assets, shall we? And we shall. Let's start with the S&P 500. So here's what the S&P 500 daily chart looks like. Since April, crypto is down 40 to 50%. S&P 500 is up 44%. How's that for shoe size? Bit snugly, huh? So if you had bought S&P 500 index funds, which are readily available on Robinhood or any other app that uses stocks, bonds, and equities, they're readily available on there. You don't got to buy options. You can just buy shares. You'd be up 43%. And if you had bought options with a decent strike price, you'd be up far more than that. She's still over the 821 EMA as of today. Yesterday had failed and then fought back off the 50 moving average, but you see that bounce right there over the 821 EMA. Very nice. I like the power. I like how it's not giving up. It is a bit of a topping formation, but you still don't have a sell-off yet. NASDAQ, it's been dealing with this trend line here for a while. You can see it there, bouncing back and forth. It looked like it was good to go. Then she rolled back over and got back underneath in this wedge right here. You can kind of see the wedge formed out. Need to see a clear, clean, concise break in one way or the other. That was the alliteration I just chose. Damn. It's pretty good. But it's closed over the trend line now. This is after hours that you're looking at right now. This is a futures pair, but just the regular NASDAQ is closed. But you're over the trend line here. Good. Let me see you prove it, right? If we flip to the weekly, you'll see this big ass screw you hammer candle that it's formed. Excellent. I'd really, really like to see this thing come off that 21 EMA, run up and print and get back up to that 26,000 plus level. I think it's got it in it in time. Dow Jones, look where she closed at the end of the day. Shoo! Tickling the previous all-time high. You can see that it's had a little bit of a hard time getting through this zone right here at the top. Flipping it over to the weekly, and what do you got? Big, beautiful, bullish candles. Oh, another alliteration. Double alliteration. That's a nice looking candle right there. Nice weekly off the 8 EMA. Really, really like to see that. Again, these things just keep on performing as opposed to crypto, which does not. And again, we just keep it real here. It ain't nothing personal. Dow Jones is up 35% in the time that most cryptos are down this same or more amount. Keep your eyeballs open, but this is a common trend. All right, here's the IWM, which is the Russell 2000. This is the after hours pair, but it's the same thing, right? This is just the index fund of the Russell. So you're over the 821 and 50 moving averages. You got an ugly, ugly gravestone doji at the top right there. Pause. Looks like it wants to slow down. That's all right. We'll give it some time. It's shot way up in the last couple of days, as you see, from 262 to 270 and then faded back to 269. Well over the 8, well over the 50, well over the 21. A far cry better than anything in crypto. Since April, you are up almost 60%, 57% on the Russell 2000. Whew. Goodness gracious. Cooking with grease. Here's SMH VanEck Semiconductor Fund. What are semiconductors? Well, you're holding one in your hand right now. And I don't mean a vibrator. I mean a cell phone or a tablet. You're holding semiconductors in your hand right now. So, as you see, they continue to rip over the 8, over everything. You shot up a gap today and you did come back and fill it. That would be a little bit of a dying baby formation right there, meaning slow down, or a hanging man. You could also call it a hangman formation. I don't necessarily see it that way. I see it Previous all-time high broken, a very, very strong candle, and another weekly higher high if it can close up here tomorrow. Very impressive for VanEck Semiconductor Fund. It is up 130% since April. Wow. That's way up there. Hey, what are you going to do, right? This is why I say all the time. What's up, Diego? This is why I say all the time, man. It ain't all about what we want. It's about what is up. And a lot of stocks and equities and indices are up, and a lot of crypto ain't. We just got to keep it real. So how about Apple? I've been watching Apple very closely. The weekly's a little spooky. As you see, you're under the 821 on the weekly for the first time in a long time, since July. But if you flip to the daily, you'll notice a couple things here. You're under the 50, the 100, the 8, and the 21. Several red candles in a row. And worth noting, look at that RSI. Still screaming oversold on the daily, only slightly higher than 2008 oversold conditions, which was the financial crisis that was going on back then. If you think Apple's a good company and you want to get the discount, there's a discount right now on Apple. You think this is going back to all-time high again? Well, you are due about 14.5% if you think it's going back to all-time high from here. I happen to think not only will it go to all-time high, but it's probably going to break those all-time highs and go even higher. It's only a matter of time. Apple's one of the biggest companies in the world, and I don't expect that to stop anytime soon. Tesla. Oh, man. So what was bearish at the end of the stream on Tuesday has now flipped back bullish today. This is the most, not the most, that's not true, one of the most volatile stocks in the stock market. Tesla went from 417 to 450 in a matter of 2 days. I have been loading up on Tesla shares for a while now. I told everybody I would do it, and I continue to do it. It's one of the few positions that I have. She's broken back over the 8, 21, and 50 moving averages all at the same time. She's running into the 50 fib here, about 456 coming up soon. Again, I still think this has legs to get to $600 in time. Maybe not all at once, right? But I do think it's going to challenge that number. I think we may even see 480 to 490 by the end of February. We'll see. That's not a guarantee, but it's got the idea that it's got the look in the eyes like it's going to try to run back up here towards Sniper's Alley or toward the Golden Pocket, which is 466 to 490. I think it's there. I think it's going to do it eventually. So I'm going to continue to DCA this when I make profits on something, continue to buy in and add shares of this. Why? Because I think it's a good long-term investment. I don't think Tesla's going anywhere. In fact, I think they're only going to get bigger. Amazon battled back after failing the beginning of the month here. It jumped up at the beginning of the month and then failed, right? You came back, made nearly an equal low. You bounced off the moving averages. You are still stuck underneath the 821 EMA here, pinned a bit, but it's trying, right? Going to give it a little bit of time to get itself over the hump. It's almost there. It's not quite there. Better than it was. Over the 50 moving average is a good thing. Just got to get back over that 821. You still do have the 8 over the 21 EMA, so it's not a sell-off. It was a chance to DCA if that's what you wanted to do. Google, big run up over the last several weeks. And as you see, jumped back over the 8 EMA in the last day here. It was bearish, back to bullish, very volatile. But as you see, if you look back, all the way back to April, you are up 130% on Google. That's just common shares. 130% up on Google since April. Damn, fellas. Right? So let's just keep it real. Been better than this than it has crypto, and it's likely going to stay that way for a bit. Even if this retraces, it's still better. We got to keep it real, right? I think this has a chance to work its way toward 400. It's way up there and overextended. Yes, I would agree. I think 350 happens, and not just because it's a smaller number than 400, but I think 350 acts as a psychological barrier here for the future. You've tickled 342, but you haven't got it to 350. We'll see if it gets over 350. You may see a touch and fade of 350 back to 325-ish, if that's where this 50 moving average works itself up to. But I do think in due time we're heading toward that $400 mark. Maybe by the end of the year, we'll see. Microsoft, rough time for Microsoft. Like Apple, big oversold. Not as oversold as Apple, but oversold nonetheless. From all-time high, if you think Microsoft's going back to all-time high again, that is a 19% move from here. Not bad. Not bad. It's pretty darn good because 15% is considered a very good win for a year. You get that back, 19% in 12 months from now, you've done better than most people in the stock market. Think of it that way, yeah? It is oversold. It is on discount. Wrong button, sorry. And as you see, weekly has struck the 100 moving average and failed straight through the 50. So I bet it does do some bouncing around here trying to find a footing. It is running into previous support from all the way back in 2024. I think that's probably going to hang on. We'll see. I like Microsoft for the future. And with the news that tokenized stocks will be released, you're going to see a lot more money come into these and the volume increase dramatically, I think, from use of stablecoins. Meta had a heck of a couple days here. It was rough. Really had a hard time getting through the mud here. Smacked the 821 into the 50. You got the 200 into 100 moving average up here creating a tits cross. Sure enough, we're going to see that tits cross come in, and we're going to see the action back towards it with the price. That's exactly what I was hoping would happen. Now let's see it get back over that 200. It was on a very good discount. She was oversold for a very long time, and it actually made near equal lows. From that low to the top was 30%. Whew. And right now to the all-time high, you're still 23%. That's still a good return, just back to all-time high for Facebook. HL, Jennifer Jeans asked for HL. Let's look at HL. I gotcha. Helka Mining. Hell yeah. They mine precious earth or precious earth minerals, or they mine oil and gas. Do you know? I mean, I don't really care. I'm just curious because it looks like the oil. It looks like precious metals. Absolutely flying. Look at that. My goodness, it's precious metals. It's got to be. That's some mega profits for them right there. I can't even pull fibs on this. It's too wild. It's blown through them all, likely. Oh, yeah. No, she's still got some left. Goodness gracious. I think it could hit $35 here for HL in time. Impressive. Just absolute ripper. It looks like a crypto chart from the bull market, doesn't it? Isn't that wild? I know. But yeah, this can't last forever. I'm going to beg people to take profits. I'm not telling you to sell it all. I think that's a terrible idea. You do what you want. But taking profits is a different story. Nobody ever went broke taking profits. That's the way I like to put it to everybody. Impressive chart. NVIDIA. So she snuck back over the moving averages today. It's been playing ping pong with this pinch of, was that another alliteration? Ping pong pitch? Triple alliteration in the stream here. Wow. What could I use? For someone listening to me use alliteration? I know. Anyway, you're bouncing back and forth here. Could have hit another one right there, but I didn't do it. Bouncing back and anyway, tied up in the moving averages. I think it's going to continue to flag out here for a little bit. If you look at the Bollinger Bands, they're tight, but they're not screaming tight, and I think they're going to get screaming tight. And that's going to take a couple more days, maybe a week of back and forth before it really wants to get volatile. I'm hoping that the volatility is to the upside for sure, but we can't be sure of that. It did jump back over. That's a good sign. More consolidation, I think. Palantir. Palantir has a bunch of big government contracts. Just give them a Google and you find out how hated they are. That usually means they're making a lot of money. But price tends to not care about that, and it is fading back toward the 200 moving average and the big monster 1618. Just back to all-time high for Palantir. You are looking at 25+%. Very good return if it makes it back to all-time high. Keep your eyeballs on it. A couple more. United Healthcare. She's broken the 200 moving average. Watch out. Look at that. Big ball of moving averages. Big jump over. This may consolidate a little bit here, and think about it. And you do have the weekly 50 moving average coming in there, but this is a really nice look for United Healthcare. I'm thinking of buying some myself, so I'm going to keep my peepers on it and make a decision as such. Couple more. OKE. All right, OKE is also broken through the 200 moving average. Very nice. You're off the 821 EMA, 50, 100, everything. Weekly wise, you're almost to the weekly 50 like you just saw with the last one. So keep your eyes on it, but I like the breakout here. And even if it consolidates a bit, there's still more upside than downside. Ton of upside in this one. Look how far it consolidated down. And if you pull back to all-time high, you have 50% to all-time high on that one. Impressive. Truist Bank, Truist Financial. I bank with Truist. I also have a couple other bank accounts, one with Chase and a couple others. But Truist I use it all the time. That's what I use to book vacations with. They're easy to work with. So 821 still going. You look really, really rough yesterday, but snap your fingers. She's back. Bad earnings, but the price went right back up. Yeah. That's what happens when you try to chase the news. It's not things I do or care about, and that's exactly why you see on the screen right now. Appreciate it. Yes, Diego says, smash that like, fellas, ladies, people, non-gender conforming whatevers. I don't think I'm supposed to say whatevers. I think I have to say they, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna say people, or you, or them, or him, or her, or whatever. Damn, that goes down a rabbit hole quick, doesn't it? It does. Anyway, you bounce the 50 moving average and you're back up into your consolidation zone. If you look at the weekly, she's just formed another nice weekly candle. I think that target box up around 52 to 57 makes sense. Ford. Hey, look at that weekly trend line. Still running up, still working its way back. Daily bounce to 50 moving average. Looking at the monthly, drop that off. Click auto. Scroll it back a little bit. You're over all the moving averages, and look at that thing try to push north. She is working on getting back to this local high that it made in 2022 and never quite capped yet. Can it make it? Well, it would be the first time in a long time for Ford, who took a big punch in the face coming from 25 all the way back down to 9. That was a dick punch. Luckily, they're grinding their way back north here. Let's see if they make it out of the mud. I like the way it looks right now. Hold the trend, and you're my friend. General Motors. All right, look at this thing come off the 1618 with power. Way up there. It's out in front of Ford. Off the 50 moving average and the 1618 at the same time, plus over the 821 EMA. Very impressive for General Motors. It is a lower high, and it may consolidate here, but gosh, it has done really, really well. General Motors, since April, boy, this one's way up. General Motors is up 95% since April. 95%. What a ride. Under Armour. Oh boy, look at that. She broke the 50, the 821, the 100, and the 200 moving average. All of them. Very nice. You're working your way over on these fibs here. Still stuck in a bit of a wedge. You got the 100 moving average that it's hitting now. But that's a hell of a rip up. I mean, I know it's going to be overbought here. It might be a little bit of a wait to see moment, but you really like to see that price structure break out like it did. I'll go back to April on this one, and guess what? She lost money. So this lets you know right here, you're not just going to make a bunch of money all the time. Actually, since April, you're up 30%, even after that big fall off. This ugly looking stock chart's still better than most crypto charts. Wow. AMD. You guys don't know what AMD is. Look in the PC when you get home. You probably have an AMD processor. They make computer chips and technology. 821, yes. 50, yes. Off the 100, yes. Almost new all-time high. Wow. Is it overbought? Yes. Be careful here. It may be a slowdown, but it's still got to look like it wants to kick. And if it kicks, you don't stand behind the horse. All right, so previous low there in April to now 230%. Holy shit. Shoo. AMD killed it. Intel, INTC. Intel Corporation. Oh, baby. Look at that. Weekly, she's broken the trend line. She's making a new high from 2024. Wow. She's over every weekly moving average and get rid of all those. She's over every daily moving average and get rid of all those. On an absolute tear. Yes, it's overbought. It's been doing this for a while. Super impressive. Look at the monthly chart. It appears that it's heading for all-time high. That would be about $66 plus. No, it would be actually $74 from back in 2000. Holy shit. So you mean to tell me Intel is approaching a 25-year high? Wow. It's also approaching the 21 high, a 4 or 5 year high. Very nice. A 5 and a 25-year high, maybe getting taken out here by Intel. Very impressive. Since April, not up much. You're up 28% since April. But from the bottom there, you're up way more than that. You're up 180%. Whew, goodness gracious. And I believe that's it. One more and we are done. Budweiser. I chart Budweiser for a reason. That's for the Gillis-Mulvaney effect. What is the Gillis-Mulvaney effect? Well, here's where woke advertising got you. Straight down until they decided, hey, maybe we should change our marketing program. And they did. Then they went back up and they went sideways until they figured out a new marketing program after it went back down again. They hired Shane Gillis, the complete opposite of the woke. And what happened? Since they hired Shane Gillis through advertising, Budweiser went up to a peak of 56%, a current high of over 50%. Not only that, but she's showing signs that she wants to keep going. She is in Sniper's Alley, still ripping here, all the way up to the previous all-time high. Not all-time high. It's almost to the all-time high. Hasn't gotten there yet. It's almost to a, where would be the all-time high? Yeah, the all-time high is way back there. That's going to take a while. That's all the way back in. Let's flip it to the weekly. All-time high came back in 2016. So this would be an 11-year high if it got back to all-time high. And that's a long, long way off there, folks. So let's not be too crazy on that. Weekly still has some room on the RSI, and so does monthly. Monthly has all it wants to do. This is still a bit of a rising wedge. It could fail very aggressively if Bud Light gets stupid here. You could have this come over here, make a lower high, and drop. That's going to be on them. Let's see if we can keep this formation going. We need to get over this previous high from 2021. If we do, then you're looking at a new short-term higher high, and it can continue challenging northward. I think the next stopping point is going to be around, that next point it needs to break will be about $77. So a little bit different stream for everybody. I hope you were prepared for it. I told you guys I may change it just to charts before dark and charts after dark since crypto has changed. And it's important that we evolve and keep up with the markets. And hey, guess what? When things evolve and change, we have to change and adapt with it, right? I'm not a opponent of that. I want to keep going. Keep doing stuff, and we don't back down. We just go with the flow and we evolve. It's very important to adapt or die. All right. So appreciate everybody being here. Thank you guys for watching. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday. We're probably going to switch back to late nights on Tuesday and Thursday, back to our 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock time frame. Why? Well, it's easier on me now. The kids are getting a little older. I'm going to have a change of plans as well. Wife's got a change of plans. She's still in school doing her master's, doctorate program. So just the times have changed for me as far as what's going on here in the real world. So appreciate you guys. Yeah, silver, gold, platinum, doesn't matter, Jennifer. They're all screaming high. Platinum still has upside too. So does nickel and palladium. Appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you guys next Tuesday again. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are the best. Can't do it without you. Sky's the limit. I'm out. Y'all be good, man. Peace.